I have to say, I was very excited returning to Conan Exiles after developers announced the Age of Heroes was releasing this October. After the game's release back in 2018, I had over 3,000 hours of gameplay. Yep, I was addicted. I stopped playing back in 2020 because of work, but now that I have a little bit of free time, I am ready to get back to the Exiled Lands and see what is new. If you're new to Conan Exiles and thinking whether to play it or not, I strongly recommend you try it. Conan Exiles is an open world survival game where players get to experience its vast open world gameplay, overall building mechanics, the very fun use of the follower system, and to the exciting combat system. I believe Conan Exiles is the game for you if you find all of these appealing. After customizing your character, you start out to the far south side of the map, where you find yourself in the desert with a loincloth. Literally, a loincloth. Where you must make your way to a safe spot in order to survive the harsh climate of the Exiled Lands. Early stages require you to craft basic clothing and find anything and everything to stop your hunger bar from depleting. One of the easiest access to food is by farming bushes and plants in search of bugs or killing NPCs for raw meat. You can eat the raw meat, however, you will get food poisoning if you don't cook it first, of course. Early game requires you to farm, and farm some more. Primarily for wood, stone, and fiber to basically craft the basic essentials such as hatchets, pickaxes, and weapons to defend yourself against enemy encounters. The game introduces a leveling system where every level you gain, you acquire what are known as knowledge points. Knowledge points allow you to unlock anywhere from building structures that do have a higher durability later game. Different kinds of weapons, from one-handed swords, axes, spears, and yes, shields. You can also use the knowledge points to unlock different tiers of gear, and yes, every piece of gear can vary from how strong the armor is, to the durability, and to how well you can survive within the different biomes. For example, in order for you to survive the harsh cold in the north, you must wear gear that will keep you warm. If you don't, you'll have to snuggle next to, well, a campfire. Trust me, this was not fun at all. Leveling also gives you attribute points. As the name indicates, you use attribute points to increase stats to how strong you can become, to how long you can survive enemy encounters. I feel this is a great system because you can customize your character to perform in the style of your gameplay, such as the Barbarian role. This is where you focus more on strength attributes by wielding a two-handed axe, sword, or if you want, you can resort to, which is my personal favorite, the tank. Basically, how long you can survive enemy or boss encounters by primarily using sword or a shield. Yes, you can change between different weapons during a fight if you know specific weapons are stronger depending on what enemy you are fighting. Building in the game seems limitless. However, if you stray too far from your base, something called a decay timer will start. The good thing is, it will always refresh when you're within a certain distance from your base. Also, the more you build, the longer your base decay timer will increase. One more thing to note, the strength of your base structure will determine how high you can build. Crafting is essential to surviving in Conan Exiles. With each crafting bench comes different levels of benches. Let's use the armor's bench as an example. In early stages, you can craft an armor bench, then after you progress through the game, then you can unlock the improved armor's bench. Once you reach a certain level though, you can then unlock both the campaign and garrison armor benches. The campaign bench will craft armor at a speed rate of 200%, in which the garrison bench reduces material costs by 50%. In my opinion, I'd go with the garrison just to save materials. One last thing to note, every weapon has a higher grade, just like every set of armor, ranging from light, medium, and heavy. Like all survival games, you need to reach different locations on the map to unlock different farming nodes. The higher the difficulty, the higher the reward. Now this is where it gets interesting, the Thraw System. Thralls are random generated NPCs that spawn all across the Exiled Lands. Throughout the map, you'll encounter strongholds, dungeons, and smaller outlying forts where all kinds of thralls can spawn. These thrall camps can spawn anywhere from fighter thralls, professions, and even what the game calls named thralls. The higher the level thrall will determine how quick you can knock them out, and basically how quick or slow they can be tamed in what's called a thrall wheel, using a certain kind of food to tame. Once tamed, you can equip armor, give them weapons, give them food, and just basically all the essentials to survive longer. Thralls will only level up if they're following you. And finally, the Purge System. From what I could remember, the Purge System was completely revamped from its earlier stages of the game up till now. There's now something called Coffer Chests. This chest allows you to add treasures you find throughout the game from killing NPCs or looting them from chests. The Coffer Chest will allow you to start a Purge System where an enemy territory is built outside your base, in which waves of enemies will start spawning in order to steal your Coffer Chest. If you defend your Coffer Chest after the wave surge, you'll fight the enemy general at the end in most dramatic scene. The cool thing about defeating Purges, not only will you get an enormous amount of loot at the end, but there's a chance that imprisoned NPCs will spawn and fight for you on your journey throughout the Exiled Lands. One thing to note about Purges, you can increase the level of difficulty depending on how valuable your Coffer Chest is. But be warned, the enemy NPCs get stronger with each level, and without the proper gear, weapons, and companions you have at your disposal, well, that'll be up to you. Playing the game brought back some nostalgia, and I've been very excited to see what the developers have in store in the future. I'll be creating more reviews like this in the future, so if you enjoyed this video or if it was super helpful, please leave a comment on what you want to see in future videos. Until then, peace!